calls from young men, from their wives, from their girlfriends, bro, telling me what they are going through, bro. I'm sitting in kitchen tables with them, bro. So I know what's going on, bro. I'm not just, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, bro. A lot of these people out there, bro, they just give a message that resonate with people because it makes them feel good, but then they're never hands-on with people, bro.
Yeah.
They're never part of the solution.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to, and so a lot of people, bro, are trying to like feed into what success is based off what they say.
Yeah. I understand exactly what you're saying, you know, and it's interesting that your cousin was looking up therapist, you know, in his Google search.
Yeah.
And I'm going to share a story with you just so you can kind of get an idea of my realization from my experience with dealing with this stuff. You know, so I'll rewind a little bit. And I've shared this story once before, but I'll go a little bit more in detail this time just so that people can see kind of my mentality around at that time.
Yeah.
And kind of see why I understand why your cousin was feeling the way he was feeling. So I was married like literally a week before the first COVID shutdown. It was like February 20th, 2020, right? This woman that I married, to me, in my mind, like the visual look of her was what I thought I always wanted. It was like my dream woman. You know how in your mind as a little kid, you kind of picture what the type of girl you want?
Yeah.
And I thought that's what she was, right? So it was one of those like everything happens really fast type of relationships, right? And it was not what I thought I wanted. So it was a very toxic relationship. I won't get too much in detail, but it ended very, very drastically in a really horrible way.
Sorry for that.
What happened was I was holding on to so much anger and so much pent up aggression from the lifestyle that I was living with this woman. Because that lifestyle was very, very toxic, and it was a dark world. Those success people that you're talking about, all these rich and famous people, I was in their world, you know, and it's not ideally the world that I come from, you know. I'm a business professional. I'm a high ticket salesman. You know, I am a businessman. That was my world. And I got wrapped up into a different world. And I was like, I thought it was cool. So if you looked at my life from the outside, looking in, at the time, it looked amazing. Married to a supermodel. You have a family, had 2 stepkids. The kids loved me. You know, I was in love with the kids, had a cute little Yorkie, bought a brand new house, brand new cars. On the outside, it looked flashy. But on the inside, it was putrid. It was, you know, toxic. It was killing me as a man and as a person. And it ended with me almost killing a guy in a bar. I beat the living shit out of this guy. And when people think like, oh, you got in a bar fight, you know, they think, oh, the guy had a purple eye, right? The real world is very, very different than the movies. In the real world, motherfuckers like me can kill you with their hands, you know? And I nearly did that. And thank God that the guy did not die, because I broke like over 20 bones in his face, you know, broke the orbital wall, a couple spots, shattered the nose, broke the jaw, cracked the skull. It was really, really bad. Camera here, parked the car outside, camera right on the car. There was no way in hell I was going to escape this, right? And I knew in my mind, like, fuck, like I didn't just hit this guy in a purple eye. I beat the living crap out of him. And this dude deserved an ass beating, but he did not deserve what I did to him. When I was hitting him, I remember screaming, fuck you, fuck you. Every time I was hitting him, I can just feel his bones breaking. And I was not me. I was outside of my body looking at me. Something happened where I snapped out of it, and I stood up and I looked at him, and I was like, oh my God. And I looked at my ex-wife at the time. She's like, well, let's go. So we took off, right? And the first thing she said was, I think we should get a divorce so he doesn't sue us and takes my money. And I was like, how about we're going to get through this? How about I'm here for you, right? needless to say, I'm telling you, I'm a business professional. I have my real estate license, my freaking lender's license, my insurance license, all kinds of licenses. I did all kinds of stuff in the professional world.
Yeah.
I was going to lose it all. You know, I was charged with assault with great bodily injury. I was this close to being charged with mayhem. And I was looking at 10 years in prison. I knew that relationship with that woman needed to end. It was the hardest thing I ever did. Yeah. Because like, I'm telling you, like I was all in. Like we tattooed we're retarded. We tattooed our names with infinity symbols with our names on each other, you know? Don't worry, I got it covered up. But I was in love with these kids. They were my children. Yeah. You know, we had a life together. I thought this was the person I was going to spend the rest of my life with. I knew that if I stayed with her, I was going to end up either killing someone or killing myself because of the lifestyle that she lived and the type of person she was. Yeah. I thought I was going to go to prison for 10 years and lose all my professional licenses, lose my freedom. I was going to not be able to ever have a regular job. Yeah. I was going to have this stain on my name. I wouldn't be able to vote, wouldn't be able to have any gun, wouldn't be able to do anything, right? And I was completely isolated from the world because of the type of lifestyle that I was living. Yeah. No one really knew what was going on. They just thought I lived a perfect life. Yeah. It wasn't. It was hell. And I slipped into the worst depression of my life. Yeah. Like it was so fucking weird, man. Like I'm a musician. I'm an empath, bro. Like I emote and like I felt nothing. Like I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't feel. I would hear music. I would feel nothing.
And that, I would. Yeah, that's a scary. I
felt
thing to feel,
absolutely
man.
nothing, and I just felt complete dread. I was having panic attacks multiple times throughout the day, like 20 times throughout the day, nonstop anxiety. Just literally, like I tell you, I was driving and crying, sitting in my office crying, driving back home crying, getting to my house crying. Like I was like losing everything. Yeah. Right. I couldn't sleep at night. I was just like twitching next to this woman that was a fucking devil to me. And, I told her, take it all and leave me alone. Leave me the fuck alone. Yeah. I left with not a penny, kept the house, kept the cars, kept the furniture, kept the dog, kept everything. I left with $100,000 in debt because I had to hire an attorney. Cost me $20,000. Had to bail myself out. Cost me $10,000. Long story short, I had to pay this cat $20,000 in restitution. I was looking at losing my job, losing my freedom, losing everything. I was in so much pain. I lost what I thought was the woman I was going to be with for the rest of my life. Yeah. And just like your cousin, bro, I did the research. Made a decision. I'm going to kill myself. I don't want to live my life in this pain. I'm just constant. I can't sleep. I can't do nothing. I can't do this anymore. Luckily, I didn't have a gun, you know, because that would have been the easiest way. Yeah. And I looked up and it said, I said, pills. I'll take some pills. I'll take a bunch of drugs. And then the shit said like, you're probably not going to die. You're going to have like kidney failure and you're going to be all fucked up for the rest. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And then I looked and I said, jump from a building. I do commercial property management at the time. I had 3 high-rise buildings that I can have I have access to. Yeah. You know? So I was like, that's it. Bet. I'm going to jump from a fucking building. So I remember the day, you know, it was like 2 a.m. and I had made the decision I'm going to kill myself. No one knew. At this point, everybody still thinks I'm living a perfect, including my job. They didn't know I was going through this. Yeah. I had already built myself out. I already was living on my own. The ex-wife was at the house that, you know, we had together, moved in the ex-boyfriend in like the next day, you know. Mm-hmm. She left my dog in the backyard and he drowned. And it was like the only joy that I had at the time. Could no longer talk to the kids. My parents didn't know what was going on. They live in Minnesota. I'm literally alone here. Nobody, no friends, no nothing. And I remember going to the freezer and pulling out a bottle of Jack Daniels, and it was brand new. I remember I cracked that sucker open, and I was in so much fucking pain, dude. And I was driving down the 210. It was like drizzling. It wasn't raining hard, but it was like drizzling a little bit. And I remember I had the windows down because I just wanted to feel the cold. Yeah. And I was chugging this fucking bottle of Jack Daniels. And in my mind, I remember telling, why, God, why is this happening to me? I remember getting to the building, and I saw the security guard that's always there at night. Yeah. And I was like, what's up, man? I had the bottle in my jacket. And I go up to the top floor, and there's a balcony on the floor. And at this point, I already chugged half of the bottle. I'm fucked up, dude. Like, everything's like hazy. Like, you know, when you see lights and you move, they're like fucking all over the place. And it was dead silent in Pasadena. And I remember putting the bottle down and going over the ledge. And I looked down at the floor, the cold, wet floor. And I was holding onto the rails. And I remember thinking in my head, like, is this going to hurt? Yeah. And I said, yeah, it's going to hurt, but it's only going to hurt for a few seconds. And then your misery's gone, Aníbal. And I made the decision right there. Fuck it, I'm jumping. Right when I was about to jump, brother, it was almost simultaneously, I heard a voice speak to me. And this voice, it said a name. It said my mother's name. It said Noemi. And I felt a fucking sword like stab me in the heart, like from my spine. I remember never being so afraid in my life. Like, the fear of God hit me, brother, like deep. Like, I remember just I became sober in that second, that split second. I was like, whoa. And I remember like all of my muscles like tensed up so tight that I nearly slipped. Like, I went like, wow, like, cause I was so fucking tight. And I remember being terrified. In a split second, I imagined the misery and the suffering that I would give my mother. And then I thought of my dad, I thought of my brother, I thought of my nephew. I thought about the people that actually loved me, not about all the bullshit that people think is success. Yeah. I didn't care about the car. I didn't care about the house. I didn't care about the money. I didn't care about the job. I didn't care about nothing. What I cared about was my family. Yeah. My mother, Noemi. That's the name that spoke to me, that saved my life. I jumped over that fucking edge like a ninja. I remember trying to catch my breath. I was breathing so fucking heavy, dude, that I was screaming like, and my fucking voice, like my breath was ruminating through the whole city. This is like 2 a.m. Probably the homeless people were like, what the fuck is going on up there? And I remember looking over to my shoulder and seeing that Jack Daniel bottle, just the condensate. I could read every single little word. And at that moment, I made a decision. I made the decision of my life. I said, I'm going to redeem myself. I'm going to change my life, and I'm going to do something to make my family proud. Yeah. And I died that day. You know, I actually died. So my podcast, my business, my vision, every single thing that I do started from that point forward. Yeah. It was called Dreams to Reality. That's the name of my company. That's the name of my brand. Yeah. And the dream, like you said, your cousin said, why can't I fulfill my dreams? Yeah. You know? And I know every single human being in this world has dreams. Yeah. They have in their mind, like, this is what I want. But life doesn't go the way that you want all the time, you know? Yeah. Sometimes it throws resistance at you. It throws opposition. And the hero is the person that conquers that opposition. Yeah. And I decided at that point, I am going to become the hero of my life. Yeah. And I put on everything on me. Everything. And everything I say, give me more. I can take it. I can take any suffering. I can take any pain as long as it's in the direction of my vision. And the word that you used today was surrender. I chose to surrender to that process. Yeah. You know, and I became like very, very committed to my cause. Yeah. And people that work with me, people that know me, they understand, like, this motherfucker is committed. Yeah. You know, he will do whatever it takes to succeed. And the hero must die, either emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Yeah. You have to consume yourself in order to evolve. You had to kill the old George, the drug addict, meth head gangster. Yeah. You had to kill that guy. Yeah. You had to create a new hero, which is the person you are today and the person you are becoming. Yeah. Because what makes life so meaningful is the process of evolving.
is being